Greetings, greetings. Welcome, everyone. What's up, Rick? All right, you guys, welcome, 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 and welcome. It is Wednesday. It's the Trade Ideas live stream. It is Dan Merkin here, your by far favorite fintech CEO. And we're going to be covering a lot of different topics today. Some things that, I'm going to run the money machine for you guys as well. But I'm going to start off on some other things and just point out critical elements that I believe are some of the standout things that you want to make sure. By the way, can you guys hear me? That's a good question. Because I just got something that said, and let me know if the sound is coming in. I think that it is. Okay, very good. Just double checking here. All good. Okay, thank you, Bill. Thank you, MB. Yep, thank you. Okay, now I know. All right. So you guys, as most of you already know, what separates Trade Ideas is the way that we manage data. So I'm giving you guys a little bit of a history lesson, but the exchanges provide raw data, and then people really, for the most part, just spit that raw data out. There are toolkits that let you create libraries that let you create indicators and all that stuff, but that we don't use that. We do everything on our own. We have our own database that collects the raw data, and then we massage that and look at it in real time. We call that sort of our FBI serial killer or serial runner profiling. So we approach back testing or AI signaling from a completely different point of view. And I've talked about this, hi, Q. And I've talked about this a couple of times, but I just want to reiterate it. Imagine that you're an NFL team or a professional sports team. I'm using NFL because there's a lot of guys here like to watch football. And you are playing a team next week. Let's say you're playing the Cowboys. Are you going to be studying films on Troy Aikman? No, you're not. You're going to be studying what the Cowboys were doing last week so that you can prepare better for what's going on now. Back testing, the way it's done today, is a complete disaster and a total waste of time. People talk about, we've got 50 years of data. Your 50 years of data is worthless, okay? The most important stuff is what's been going on just recently, like the last 3 months. which is what we do, because that's who you're playing right now. The algorithms adjust. The 87 crash algorithm is not the same Citadel Virtue algorithm or BlackRock algorithm that's running the programs today. It is different. Okay. So our advantage is that we don't focus on the bullshit of 50 years. We focus incredibly well on what's just been happening. And that's how you get what you get. So I'm showing you guys our AI. This is our premium product. Okay. And the AI, and I want to explain how it works because many people are a little bit misguided, but let's just say that, about whether or not every trade, just because it happens, it's profitable. That's never the case. It's impossible because even when signals line up, once a trade takes place, things start to happen and things change. From that point of view, that is why on our homepage we have the Masters golf course, and golf is the best metaphor, even for the pros. Rory McIlroy, when he ended up winning the Masters tournament, last Masters, he missed a 3-foot or 4-foot putt and had to go into a playoff to finally then win. So this is the same thing. So here, for example, take a look. VICR, I'm going to change this to intraday so you can kind of see what happened. Breakout took place, huge breakout, huge relative volume. Okay, the signal was right here. It looked like it could have kept on going, but it pulled back. Okay. And this is why we have this stop loss. And we're telling you that, listen, this is for your protection. When you're looking at volatility that's 28%, you can have huge swings. So we're trying to say, listen, if it goes against you by 3%, that's actually still okay. Get out, possibly get back in, get out. Here it's low, but now we're approaching this again. This would be possibly where you get back in. So there's lots of trial and errors, what I really want to make sure you understand. And trial and error is a normal part of the game. IQ, we'll discuss a little bit of that. That's almost like, again, what I'll say is this. IQ's question is an interesting question because it kind of pivots to something important in trading. I cannot really explain to you how to trade the previous day closing buy alert from TradeWick because every single person has to create their own trading style on their own. Like our AI is a guide. It's very similar to in golf for amateurs. You can look at the scope and be like, okay, this shot is 130 yards versus 120 yards or 140 yards. So I know the distance, I know what club, but the way you swing at it is a custom thing that's going to be your fingerprint and your fingerprint only. So I want to make sure that you guys know something. If you look at this tech right here, this is AI's historical trades that you should be aware of. And we're trying to just showcase stuff that we do here so you can see, like an example. Let me put this on the daily bar. So we had a sell signal, okay, at 9:10 for this thing at $9.38. And it has gone down 7 to 78 cents from there. I mean, if you I just want to say that in terms of profile, and by the way, it gave you 2 days to do it. This is what I'm saying. There's this thing where people are like, I need it now. But imagine if you got short 300 shares and you're still short. I mean, right now to go from 70 cents to $9, I mean, you're talking about 1,000% on the upside. Not that it's going to do it, but I'm just saying that our algorithm hunts both sides of it. And I'm not even sure if, again, you had the borrows for this, but just contemplate. My job here is to demonstrate to you that we are not some kind of one-trick pony, but we have got tech here that is looking for very important information for you. And well, how do we display it is really what I'm trying to say. This window right here is an algorithmic visual window. We're actually going to move these trades right here to look more like this very soon, where these charts are intraday real time. But if you look at MAGN, okay, so this was a very recent call. It was a buy signal from a pullback. So this was right here, 2 days down, reversed, and you're right at it. So this is the kind of move that, and I've said this before, if you're trading the AI signals, this is where you're very close and you're looking for a potential, move to, this is my good friend Steve Gomez's moving average. I mean, you're looking for a bounce to 12.58. And what you can do here, you see these arrows, you can see more of the signals. Like, this is the idea here, is we want to make sure that you don't miss something. Okay, so here is a buy signal. It went up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. It was up. Then, the market again, remember, this is not a fortune telling machine. This is a card counting machine. You break down, consolidate, and go. One of the reasons why we keep this, I want to really explain this. Why do we keep this view? So this view right here on the AI shows you profitable trades only, because there's a methodology at place here where we're saying if you just follow and be in it when it's profitable, you're able to then focus on exactly what's moving. Michelle, sorry if you aren't able to hear as well. I think everyone else said the sound is coming in pretty well. So I'm going to keep going. You guys let me know. But I want to showcase yesterday. So today's the 22nd. Yesterday, we had a buy signal and beyond meet at 2:32. By the way, it was not easy, just so you know. There was some volatility here. So you probably would have been stopped out once, but re-entered, and then boom. And then today, I mean, this thing went up to $7.77. It was close to 300%. The point I'm simply making is that we're not a fortune teller, but we are an algorithmic card counter that looks at volatility and momentum, and we identify these footprints. So if you look at what's happening here with the volume and this move right here, you will notice that this move in GSIT, which went from 838 to 18 in 2 days, actually in 1 day, to be honest. Do you guys see that this is a similar footprint? I'm just going to go right here. Notice how the volume, again, we are profilers, FBI profilers of momentum. Okay, so let me bring this to this and move that here. So here's another example. Very similar SIG, the volume starts, but the AI hasn't, it's studying. It's like this maybe, again, it knows things that I cannot tell. But once this move started, like, again, you can see this is what we look for. And then you go from here to here, huge pullback, always above the signal, and as high as 600%. So this is why, I mean, I have to, it is my job to demonstrate to you guys that a lot of what we do for the premium product encompasses everything that you see. Like, for example, I'm going to switch channels here. So all of these stocks right here, they all are demonstrating immense momentum. Notice this is halted, 110%. If you were watching this channel from the open, which I would think many of you would have been, you have been watching ARMP. This should not be this is not something tricky. IQ, I'm not sure what TTM squeeze indicator maybe you can spell it out. But what I'm really saying is I seriously, honestly doubt that there's any indicator that we are not uh, able to already replicate with our own momentum. Like I'm saying, like here, this right here. How could you have not seen this if you were watching this channel? Okay. Same here. Like the trade wave obviously is in here to help you gauge the momentum. Continuation of previous signals. But the whole technology is based on momentum hunting. And I've mentioned this before that the race view is one of the most potent ways to visualize what's really moving. Okay, look at these percentage moves. Pull back, and here you go. So let's move to the money machine, and I'm going to kind of discuss why and how I view the money machine as really a way to access what's happening here, but in automated form from a scouting perspective. Okay. So let's go to MM1. Okay. And as I mentioned before, the money machine is the automated trade ideas momentum trading system. I'm going to go to money machine settings, and I'm going to hit big momentum rider. And I'm going to look at stocks that are their position in their 5-minute range. I'm going to get into 4 of them. And I'm going to use trade wave for entries and exits. You can select my minimum price is going to be $1.20, maximum price of 25. Entry candidates, let's see here. Okay, that should be fine. MM1, save profile, and start. Let's see what happens. Okay, so notice I'm pretty sure that many of these were in our momentum channel that I just brought up. Okay, let's take a look at what we're getting into. Obviously, again, you can see huge, huge runs. And the thing that the thing to note, and I'm not sure if I'm running the latest version, because theoretically the stops should be in there. I think you guys all now have access. By the way, just I want to make sure everybody knows this. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to bring this up. Okay, if you want access to the money machine, how do you get it? Under download, this is the money machine alpha. Okay. Edwin, hi, how are you? Let me, okay. So money machine settings. I want, let me do something. I'm going to stop it. Okay. I'm going to go back to money machine settings. Under my stop, these are the different ways that you can, modify your own settings. I have maximum positions of 4. That's what you see here. The strategy I picked is big momentum rider. It's very similar to trading the explosive winners. That's why I picked it, because I'm saying if you want to trade these big momentum names, that's all you have to do. It's already there. This changed from the open. I just moved it to position in 5-minute range, and entry candidates if this is how many I'm picking from, I can change this to, you know, it's basically, I'm looking at the top 10 as potential candidates. And for right here, maximum price, I'd switch to 25, but I'm readjusting it. 1.2 long. I'm using this. I'm going to save profile and I'm going to hit start. Whoops, did I hit start? Yeah. Okay. And it's going to add the stocks that it thinks, need to be added. So this was our, one of the trades. I always run like one of our latest versions. So on mine, for some reason, I'm not seeing the stops, and I can't exactly tell you why, but I'm pretty sure on yours, you have it written. And the new alpha is out. The new alpha. No. We're still working on a couple of things. The new alpha should be released next week, and we're going to do a big promo for that. Alpha upgrade is what it's going to be. So yeah. So notice, once again, obviously, ideally, I would be in here earlier, but a lot of things have to do when you turn on the money machine. Okay. And in the stock market, in case you guys know, usually there's something, and this is one of the things I really want to make sure you hear clearly. Whenever I do these demos, you understand that in Pacific time, it's 9:20. So you're in full on middle of the day. Okay. That's just how it is. You're in the middle of the day. That's arguably one of the toughest times to start anything, because usually the momentum works on a smile curve. And the smile curve is something that goes like this. You want to be getting into stuff like basically 10 minutes after the open. And the other possible potential is kind of the last hour, which we call power hour, but usually those are reversals. But generally speaking, I'm just going to be saying, generally speaking, your best opportunities come early. So I do this, but I'm showing you that the mechanics of finding momentum, they're valid all throughout the day. And here, I just turn this on, and you can see what's going on. I want to check one of my positions. Yikes. By the way, you guys see this? I'm in Nebius. When it's gone down from 140 to 96 in 8 days. That's a pretty big down move. And it looks like it's continuing. So I, suffer like the rest of us. I'm trying to trade around this thing today, and actually had one good one where I bought here, sold, but then I bought, sold a little bit, then sold here, then I bought, and it was up a little bit, but I'm, playing around. So I'm just sharing that. So let me, Trendline Surfer asked if I can show the entry and exit tab on the money machine. Okay. So I'm going to stop it real quick. I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to flatten just so that we're out of everything. Okay. I'm going to go to money machine settings. Okay. Order entry settings. So maximum positions 4. You see, I saved all of this. Okay. Stop and exit settings. Trade wave time frame. So I'm using 10-minute trade wave. Okay. Close of entry. I want it to be above the top of the trade wave. I mean, I could actually do it close above bottom of the trade wave. So this is more of like a pullback. And here, what I'm doing here is I'm excluding when the distance above the trade wave is greater than 3%, or when the band is small. And and my exit is below the bottom when the stops are working. Let's take a look what we got on stops. So I think that's that. Okay. And by the way, here, exit position on stop, when you stop the money machine, you can say, get me out. And I want to demonstrate that. Let me go back to the stops and exits. So again, this is all TradeWave related stops and exits, just so that you guys understand. If I was not using that, let me go back to, let's say I did this, okay, and I go to stops and exits. So here, it's gonna 3%, 3%. So again, it's trying to also take profits, and I can actually even have it go reverse, attempting to reverse on a protective stop, if that's possible. Okay. So, and if you get out of something and there's an opportunity to get back in, there's a re-entry timeout of 10 minutes. So you can switch that. Like I can say, get me in 10 minutes. Oops. So let's try this without the TradeWave and just see what happens. Stock money machine. Let's take a look. So you see what I'm saying? Like these are the candidates, and this is what is taking place. And I was already in this one earlier. So Trader Joe, let's be honest, okay? A lot of this has to do with just the overall market, and if you look at the situation in Nebius, I'm just bringing this up right here. We've just had a very weak market since like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For 10 days, we've been in a very, 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 very weak market. So in this situation, I don't think there's really too much that you can do. Like this is where, again, there's things that we catch, like the beyond, like these types of moves, like the Beyond Meat and things like that, you know, the GoPro. This is what the, this is where the premium stuff comes in. But you have to understand that the money machine is going to show you the momentum, but it's not going to always guarantee that you're going to make money at it. Yeah, you will be swinging against just the current of the current market when you're trying to momentum trade aggressively right now. The beauty though is, and this is what I've said before, you're actually learning something, TJ, Trader Joe, and what you're learning is very valuable. So like, I know that people want to turn on the money machine and make money. I get that completely. But I'll be honest with you, you're learning a lot. Let me switch here. And you're getting a lot of value from the fact that you are in sim mode and you're realizing right now that, hey, there can be times where I am not, where I should basically be smaller. So the idea is when you can do something like this, you can, I'm gonna stop it. Money machine settings. See why I have $1,500 here? Right now, the way the market is, like because you're using sim mode and you're seeing this without risking your own money and losing, you can be like, well, you know, maybe I should try starting small. Okay, and I'm going to start. I'm going to show you what you can do. So here we're starting small with just $500. This is a tactic, okay? This is a type of tactic that can help you start to feel what's going on, because when you see something that then hopefully, let's say, again, this is one of these things, I'll tell you, like this one, I mean, obviously it's an ETF that is playing the downside. But let's say we continue to go lower, and let's even pretend this was a stop, okay? So here you can be like, oh, wow, this is going in my direction, double. See what I just did? Double. The money machine will then manage it as a double for you. All right, hold on, guys. I'm reading the questions. Yes, Justin. So there's lots of interesting stuff. First of all, we love the feedback that you guys are giving us, and so many people are sending us emails and providing incredible feedback on how to improve the money machine. We remember this is an alpha release, and most companies never ever release alpha version technology, but we did because we want you to mess around with it. That's what we're doing. Sometimes to create great tech, you just got to let it out. Okay. So we are actually completely working on changing this whole interface 100% and making it much more graphic, where, for example, you see like this image right here, like just this thing ran up, pulled back, and it's coming back. Like this is one of my favorite setups, and this is going to be a setup that you can choose so that instead of just reading, some words, you can see an icon and pick it. Okay. And IQ, again, I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but shoot us an email, and I mean, my team will dive into it. It's very hard for me on a live stream to kind of dive into the details of all this stuff. But what I really do like is, again, the feedback. And so one of the things so watch, when I hit stop, I believe everything should exit. Oh, remember I did this setting? Exit positions on stop. So IQ was saying something about the trade wave is for short exit. So when I use trade wave, okay, and close above bottom, close above top. So entry, what it's saying is, let me do something here real quick. Okay, I'm going to put the trade wave back on so that everyone can see it. Thought I just did that. Come on. Okay, here's the trade wave, and let me switch to the proper time frame. So the idea is, where are you in the band for the entry and the exit? Okay, so money machine settings, if I'm using trade wave for entry and exits, entry, close above bottom, that means that it's got to be above this thing. That's why you're getting in here. And if it's closed for entry above top, then you would be above here on the entry. You're really going for the momentum. Or you can pick both. And you can switch the time frame too. So I just want to make sure you guys know. Live Martin, this is only for paid accounts, premium only. I've said this often, and I'm just going to say it again. This is the Porsche kind of level of trading. This is not the Toyota level of trading. And what I mean by that is that and I've said this, and by the way, this is no diss to anybody at all. I have no concept of anyone's internal financial situation at all. But I will tell you this, okay? Our AI premium based software, the one that, you know, has our AI technology and everything else in it, without any discounts, it's like $2,400 for the year. If that is a number that is kind of makes you pause for a minute, then the whole trading game may not be something that you ought to be thinking about right now, simply because, and I'm just being honest, there's so much volatility in these names that you've got to be able to lose $200, $300, $400 on any given day. Sometimes it's any given trade, and especially like when you've got this shit going on right here, you know. It's quite the, you know, this is you're skiing on double blacks right now. Okay, double black slopes. So we never do trials for this stuff because it's not for that is not the customer that we're looking for, and it's not meant as an offense. It's meant as a you know, kind of like, think about professional sports. You know, if you want to play in the NFL, well, you better be quick and strong and possible and big too. If you want to be a professional golfer, you probably should have played high school ball and college and then went to the Corn Ferry Tour. This is the same exact thing. This is a weed out process. Okay. That's a great question, Justin. I actually like what you're saying. I think we are definitely going to have that ability in there. Let me double check something. Money machine settings. Right. So you're basically saying use TradeWave for entries but not exits, or exits but not entries. 100%, Justin. And I love that you say that, because that's something, you know, I've actually talked about this with my team often. So yes, 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 that's coming. 100%. But this is the reason why we released it in alpha. You know, you guys, this is kind of raw. This is raw tech. And it's a privilege to interact with subscribers who understand that, hey, I'm kind of like in the trenches with the tech company, helping build a product through experience. You know, lots of companies, especially like the big ones, they do these focus groups, and we just don't believe in that kind of stuff. Not, and I want to take that back in the sense like this, what we're doing here, this is the focus group. Yeah, by the way, live and learn. I totally get what you're saying. We are, I mean, Scans tried to copy us, but they don't have our real-time tech. And let me just kind of explain something on that along those lines. Hold on 1 second. Okay. And there was a question. I'm trying to. By the way, you can do. You can use custom formulas. Yeah, you can do custom formulas. And what I would say is that. So I don't get into custom formulas here, but we have our own programming language that allows you to put your own custom filters and all sorts of stuff. The real difference between ourselves and Scans, and that's another streaming alerts alternative, is that when you come over here and you just look at the depth of filters that we have, and I'm just going to be, I'm just scrolling through here. I mean, obviously you can search for, and by the way, somebody was talking about Bollinger Bands. I think IQ maybe said this. We already have it. Okay. So you can basically set up any system for position in where it is in the Bollinger Bands. And Bollinger Bands, just so that everyone knows, are only standard deviations, which we also have. And here you go. And by the way, these things right here, this is a custom formula that I have. standard deviations. Yeah, like, so I can look at what did it do yesterday? Standard deviations of 30 minutes. This is what we used to work with Bright Trading. They had a slightly different standard deviation. This is the yearly standard deviation. IQ, 1 minute. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just saying that when I hear you say, I feel like I understand what you're saying, but I will say that you are potentially asking yourself up, setting yourself for an immense amount of chop. I mean, 1 minute is so volatile. I like typically I'm only trading like in terms of time frame right around the 10-minute because again, there's just the volatility. Look at this. Let's just look at Nebius as an example. You're talking about from 98 to 95 in a very short amount of time. If you're looking at it in the 1 minute time frame, it's just so tricky because in 1 minute it can be here 96 or 90, like you're talking about a point a minute. And I think that's just so tricky to do. I mean, again, that's no, I appreciate, and I'm just sharing my thought process. 1 minute, in my humble opinion, is just way too short because what's happening is in trading, you have to be able to see the forest from the trees. Like, what am I doing in Nebius here? Okay, I'm playing mean reversion, and by the way, it ain't easy, you know. But I'm looking at this like it's below every moving average, trade wave, sell signal. It can still go down. But I'm saying if you're looking for a pop, right? It could pop from 97 to 105, 115, and that would still be just a pullback. And on 400 shares, you're talking about potentially $4,000. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that that's kind of like why I'm saying the 1 minute. The 1 minute is you're in the forest right in front of a tree and you're looking at the bark and you're trying to make some inferences. And I think you want to be just standing, in my opinion, you just want to be standing a little bit farther back. That's all. Okay. So let's talk about what we're seeing here. So we've been running the money. Notice the money machine is running and we are working on a whole change of this interface. I mean, by the way, one of the big things that we are redoing is Brokerage Plus behind the scenes. We're going to trick the shit out of it. It hasn't really, that's another thing that's going to eventually be an alpha. But for people that are serious about getting after this, as you guys know, next year, this year, we're testing the money machine, going through all of these things, getting your feedback, and really working to improve it. I would say somewhere around January, February, we're going to release the live trading where you'll be able to trade on E-Trade, Alpaca, and TradeStation. And by the way, Pepe is a great resource, and I would definitely say that it's just my opinion and my style that's not the 1 minute because it's just hard for me to be uber focused, but I actually know some very, very profitable traders who do trade on that time frame, but they trade in a different style. So it's a style thing. And Pepe is an incredibly astute user and knowledgeable trader. And I would not dismiss anything that he says at all. So, and by the way, again, just so that you guys know, Pepe, for example, is in our trading room. So if you guys are not aware, okay, see right here, we have Trade Mentor. That's our trading room that Barry Anderson, who's a very astute trade ideas user, has been running for years. Pepe is in there daily. And there is always somebody that can help you, dial things in. And you can get some feedback. So even when, I do this live stream once a week on Wednesdays, where I'm trying to showcase some things to you guys and see if I can kind of catch something that would be interesting for you to follow and observe. And by the way, one of the important things I want to make sure you guys know, okay, is that there is a ton of customization that you can do to the charts. I'm going to right click and go to chart style. Okay. And, you can change the colors in the grid. So like, for example, I can change this to orange. I can go here and I can make this darker green. I can go to my background color and make that something different. So just to make sure you guys know, there's just a ton of customization and a ton of ability for you to work with the tech in a way that you find fitting. Notice that we've integrated our alerts inside the chart. So whenever I pull up a chart, the last alert that's come across will come in, and this is giving you a system, a feed. You can move it up, so it can be at the top, or you can move it down. That's up to you. Our picture-in-picture really lets you know what's going on quickly. This uses kind of the Malcolm Gladwell concept of Blink, where whenever you bring something up, you can okay, I missed it. Okay, maybe if this was pulling back, again, your mind is your best indicator. It's not the stochastics, RSI, it's your eyes. Okay, and your eyes, like this right here, I'll just say it right now. I'm not in this yet, but this is one of my favorite setups. So what I would do is I would do something like this. I would create an alert right here, set that alert, and move it right up here, right here. And then when this triggers, I know that it's going back and, it's been basing. So I love these kind of plays because then hopefully, you're talking about 100%. And remember that in the money machine, okay, let me stop this real quick. By the way, we caught a 24%er since we've been here, okay, on a gold short ETF, whatever, or ETN. But this is since you guys, so here, 23% move in the money machine was caught on a very tricky day. But by the way, what's kind of cool about this stuff is these inverse ETFs, they're running, you can basically trade the downside via the upside, right? So I just want to make sure you're seeing it. I can't control this, so not everything works, but here, while we were running the money machine, it caught a 26% gainer for you, only on $500. Because remember, what I did was I went smaller in size because I'm just sharing that the market is so volatile right now and there's a lot of negativity in there. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to expose myself, I'm going to expose myself to less. But here now we're at 30, okay? Which means that, by the way, stuff like this, HYMC, which is a gold stock, is all pulling back. So if this thing is running, and this is the gold double short ETN. So it is basically you're double shorting gold, and it's going up. That means gold is going down. 35%, 34%. Pepe, come on, this is pretty cool. Look, I mean, I love that I can show it to you guys live. What is cool about this setup, and I want to bring this up again. Okay, this big momentum rider, right? These things right here. So you are not only looking at stocks here, you're looking at the inverse ETFs. So what happens is, in a way, this is a hedge. Aussie DB, thank you for that feedback. Would you take a picture of that and shoot that to support? I just want to have it on file, and we will certainly address it and fix it. Again, there's almost a new version of this thing all the time, and certainly right now, it's not like there's an issue, and my partners who watch this, they're not in here, but they're watching the live stream. They know that, like, in theory, there should not really just be a stop, but there should be a profit target right here. Okay. So you should, but at this point, I should be in the lock-in mode. Okay. And what I'm going to do, but I do want to show that, boom, you can do it yourself too. Okay. And I just did. And I exited this, and instantly when I exited, because of my rules, it got me into another stop. I think one of the issues on my version that you're seeing is, notice how my SABR is blank. That means that this version has a little bit of a quote issue. And again, these are all things that we are working on all the time. So that might be why my stops are not working. Okay. So high beta 3x. It's again an interesting one. Remember, I would say today's lesson is really kind of cool in the sense that we're telling you that all of these inverse ETFs, okay, when they're ripping or when they're going, right, they are a way for you to hedge. So if you can be potentially, let's say there's 4 or 5. Oh, here, let me do this. I'm going to stop the money machine, exit, money machine settings. I'm going to 8. So $500 a piece, save, and start. Okay. So notice I'm in the S triple Qs. Okay, so I'm short the NASDAQ here. And the reason I'm pointing this out is I want you to think about this from the strategy. I'm long a bunch of momentum shit. I'm just saying that, you know, there's stocks that are moving. And by the way, Bank of Montreal, I mean, look at this thing. This is the kind of stuff that I love to be in. And if I can catch reversals in these, that's one of my favorite types of trades. So I just set up this alert. And the money machine, by the way, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can now trade your own price alerts. Okay. So I'm not going to jump into that in this version, but what I'm saying is I look at these things like this, Bank of Montreal, and I see just huge potential. You know, you can buy 1,500 shares of something like this. It's only $3,000, and you know, this thing could go up to 5 quick. 3 times relative volume up when the market's getting slammed. Just keeping an eye on this. So here, notice a bunch of inverse ETFs are your place. So it is, this is where I really want to say that you're kind of like doing the 5D chess. You are able to play the downside by playing the upside on the momentum rider. Does everybody understand that? Okay, does everyone understand that here you've got 1? Is this an inverse ETF? No, that's Bank of Montreal. No, BERS. Let me see what this one is. So SQ, TSLA, no, that's a momentum name. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 4 out of the 8. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stocks. 4 of them are downside plays. So you are actually, believe it or not, here, you are playing this downside. Okay, you're playing it, even though you've selected the upside and going long. I have to say that I really hope, and you guys saw, we got like 34% out of that gold one. Do you guys understand the value of what you're seeing here? Because it's a pretty critical component that we haven't actually discussed before. You know, because this allows you to not necessarily be short, quote unquote, but you can play the short side while playing the long side at the same time. So you've got this hedge happening here. Everything, notice again, everything is very tight, not too much going on, very comfortable. So we were in this one before, sold, bought, lots of volume here. But I think one of the important things that I really wanted to showcase is the fact that it's beyond just simple, momentum plays. You've got kind of like a built-in strategy that is allowing you to do something that I think most people would not really know that you could do or were doing if you didn't participate in this webinar and really see what's going on. So just FYI, I don't know if you guys know this, but I like to always share what I'm in. You guys know I'm in Nibius, but I'm in it, at prices that, like, again, that is a long-term play for me. I'm not day trading it per se, although I'm trying to do a little mean reversion stuff here today. But I'm in GoPro, and I want to explain why I'm in this one. I'm in GoPro because of the China move, the tariffs. I think China's been flooding our market with like GoPro type of competitors, but I think that's being fixed. And so there's an immense amount of potential here. They've got a market cap of 387, but they've got decent revenues, not a lot of debt. And again, I'm just giving you high level stuff so that hey, Dan is in GoPro. Why am I in GoPro? It's the China play. Okay, so that's that. Let's do this. Let's jump into some more questions. What can I answer for you guys since we're approaching the last 5 minutes? What can I do? Or I can just pivot. So once again, here, not a lot of exciting stuff's going on just because the market's been doing what it's doing. Notice I'm watching this very closely. So I would say the market pulse is one of my most critical kind of windows. This is your surf report. This is letting you know if you are heading into waves or if you are trying to catch waves. And if you're going long, right now, by the way, you could be in a situation where, if this starts to go, some of the oversold plays could work. Like, for example, another one that you guys know that I've been in is this one. And I just want to, again, this is something else I want to show. Notice on the triple dot, okay, you can go to account settings, and I'm showing you that this is a position. I have this in my live E-Trade account. So I'm playing the mean reversion in USAR. I've traded that from $9 to 33, and I had about, I think I had 1,000 shares of that. So I made about 22,000 off of that in a little bit. I think since right around June. So from June to like right here is where I sold it. And now it's come back 10 points. And I'm just playing a little bit of mean reversion. So IQ, one of the things that you're asking is something that we're doing, or we're thinking about trying to figure out how to do that the right way. But I caution you there, okay? Every day is different. And so, for example, you could have a day where this momentum rider did terrible, but the next day just rips, and you thought that it wasn't working, but it's the market that's kind of pivoting. So what I'm saying is that this is part of a style. That's why we named it what we named it, momentum rider. Every one of these stocks that you see here, it's got serious momentum, or ETFs, whatever that we're doing here. Every one of these has momentum because the market, this thing has been getting killed. And by the way, a lot of these ETFs, they're not something that you want to hold long term because they decay. Just FYI, they're kind of daily hedges. They can run up a ton in a day, but I would never be like, investing long term in any of this stuff. So Rick, yeah, that's what I'm saying is that we have already kind of planned to do what IQ is suggesting, and it's a good call. All I'm saying is be careful of okay, I'll give you back to the Nibius trade, which I'm also in as an example. So let's go to the daily. I mean, if you're trading Nibius, again, it's very tricky. First of all, here you're long every day, pulls back. Look at these 2 days, then pulls up here. I mean, you're talking about an extensive, huge, gigantic sell move. So you would think that you would still be short or still selling. But does that mean it's not going to go up? Absolutely not. These are things that we just don't know. And I'm saying that a lot of times it's very tricky to simply go based on, you can have a strategy that's worked for again, here's a strategy being long Nibius that's worked very well for 2 weeks, but then this week it's just completely collapsed. And that's really all I'm saying. We will provide that information, but be careful going too literal with that. That's really all I want to say. Okay, so everyone, a couple of things as we're at the end of the hour. First of all, incredible attendance today. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you guys coming in here day in, day out, watching us build this technology live. I want to remind everyone that the channel bar is really, really key because, it allows you to see data without having to know how to configure anything. So you can just go and create view modes, whether you're looking at the S&P 500, and I'm just saying here, I'm just switching channels. Switching channels is a great way to see how we demonstrate the technology and what it is that we can show you. So this channel bar is very powerful. There's actually a way you can create if you save a layout, you can put it in a channel. I'm not going to just show you how to do it here in today's demo, but I'm just saying that this is a very, very powerful piece of tech. Okay. Our AI is designed to really key in on the momentum. It doesn't always work, as you guys know, but I want to certainly show you, okay, that what we do, and let me put this on a smaller scale so you can see it, okay? Notice that every entry has a very tight 3% stop. The idea is that when you're talking about percentages that are possibly in the hundreds or the 50s, 3% is what we've statistically analyzed as a pretty decent way. But notice here, just think about how much we saved here. Contemplate that for a minute. You got in at 353, got out at 342. It's at 247 right now. I mean, I might be a buyer. By the way, some of the things that I do is I trade AI signals like this, where it's so oversold. I would basically be a buyer here and, a seller on new lows. I mean, obviously it still can go lower, but I'm saying that's just a style that I use. And here, GoPro, same thing, entry, you were up all day, but then stopped out, and you're kind of back in potentially the entry signal. The bottom line is that you have your risk built into every single strategy. Okay. And so you're never flying blind. And the idea, of course, is that the potential for trying this several times is something to this effect. This is what we're hunting for, and we have this capability, and we're just showing you by example. We do this. 925 is less than 4 weeks ago. This is, you're talking about 600% at highs. So don't forget, I'm going to bring up, if you want the money machine, what I'm showing you, and it's an incredible scouting mechanism for what's happening in the market, because as I said before, it's going to do stuff for you that you have not done yourself. It's automated. Come over here. You have to be a premium subscriber, but this is what you download, and this version has it. Okay. All right, you guys, I want to thank everyone for your participation today. Grateful for the time you spend with me. We're going a little bit over, but hopefully by next Wednesday, it's going to be even more exciting and lots of good stuff. Yeah, and by the way, everyone in here, try to connect with one another. It's a great way to build a community and share ideas and everything else. Okay. IQ, really appreciate your feedback. Trendline, everybody, so many people here that are constant visitors. Grateful for everything that you guys provide us, the feedback. Incredible. And it's going to make the product better and better. All right, you guys have a great Wednesday, and I will see you next week with more improvements. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.